Hello guys, so here I've started my team career. So I'm the drivers to summon it up on it. I've gone for yellow and red colours for my team. The driver I've picked a top 10 constructors, I think it is, or something like that, or a top 5 constructors or something like that. And then for my sponsor, and then I've picked Ferrari engine, and then I've picked Jono Otmir and Ayrton Senna for my drivers. I'm driving as Jono Otmir because Senna is a better driver and I want him to get the team the best results he can whilst I drive at my comfortable AI that I have. So yeah. So yeah, one shot qualifying here. So can I bag a good qualifying for the sprint race? So yeah, if I can lock up a front row grid for my team, a double front row, pole and second for my team, then I'll be happy. I think what I'll do early on is if I'm second, I'll try and hold everyone off and let my teammate get a bit of a gap, because holding people off will help my team, because I can, hold people off. Senna can get a few seconds of a lead and then I can start to push and gap the other people, and then when I start to catch up I can slow down and give my teammate a bit of a boost or something like that. But I don't think I'm going to be doing that because I'm 13th. Maybe if I gain some time into a braking zone I might be able to. Maybe if I get the braking right. I clearly didn't turn in early enough, so I'm going to go ahead and resume. I'm going to just skip back and I'm going to do this. But in real life I can't do this, so sometimes it's good to just turn the replays or the flashbacks off so you get used to what it feels like to make that mistake in real life, sort of thing. Anyway, I'm qualifying P4 or P5. I might have moved down a place. Yeah, in the end I'm P4. So, yeah. Let's have a look at the gap. 3 tenths in the end. So Ayrton Senna qualifies on pole position. So it's fully wet here, so the laps are going to be relatively slower, as you can see. Now this guy is for a beginner league, which I've joined the beginner league for 26 purely so I can get better at the game. I can maybe win a league, and then, if I realise I can win what the hell just happened? I was happy with P4, but I've got a chance to get P1 now, it looks like, because the game shows that it was going to restart. Now Verstappen's in P1, which is not good, so I'm a bit annoyed about that, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not too happy. I'm hoping my teammate is going to be qualifying top 5 at least, but who knows, he might be finishing, he might be qualifying P2, he might be qualifying P8, who knows. So I have gone quicker than I did last time, so that's certainly good, and I did get first, which is good. So where did my teammate finish? I'm hoping he did get a 49.8, something like that, but my teammate finished 7th in the end, so not the best, but yeah, I'm still happy with his result, to be honest. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the sprint race. Might as well do 5 laps because it's not the end of the world, is it? You know. Right then, so it's now here. So let's do the race, shall we? Just gonna get less fuel in my car. hoping my teammate can find the rhythm to get higher up in the order, but you know. I'm hoping Senna can overtake Verstappen to then annoy him, and then I should be able to get one of these back through a corner. No, but I almost do. Senna is right behind him. He's really getting close to Verstappen here, as you can see. Now Verstappen's managed to do it, and now Senna's managed to gain a place. So this really is an interesting battle, as you can see. There's an angry Max Verstappen right behind me. I'm sure Verstappen is a bit pissed in the cockpit. You know, there are some drivers on the F1 grid that are friends. There are some drivers that are like, you know, teammates on track, but don't really get along with each other out off the track because they just don't really have the same interests. You know. You know, there may be some drivers that are friends on track and friends off track, you know? You know, there might be rivals that are rivals on track but are friends off track. You know, the reason they've got a rivalry on track is because they're brothers, you know, and they're both on a team they both hate. So that's why they've got a rivalry, you know? So, you know, and as brothers, sort of thing, the reason they have a rivalry is because they can't believe, oh, my brother joined the team I hate. Oh, my brother joined the team I all, but, oh, I joined the team my brother hates, you know, sort of thing. And they might accept it. They might accept they might have got contracts on both teams, you know, but they wanted to be on the same team, but the teams weren't willing to, the team wasn't willing to have both of them as the main drivers, or they might, one of your brothers might have not been happy being a reserve driver on that team. You know, some brothers might join the same team, one of them is a main driver, one of them is a reserve, you know. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you can't always have a main seat, you know. Because to be honest, I would rather go for a team where I get game time or I get race time. You know, I don't want to be on a team where I'm basically just showing up to a practice every now and then and not really gaining much skills. You know, and the reason they call me up for a practice is to see how I do, to see if I'm worthy of having a chance on the weekend. You know, a main driver, they're unless they perform badly, their seat isn't really at risk. You know, unless you're Lance Stroll, then your father's obviously funded your career and he's got the money to just buy the team. If I was the owner before Lance Stroll, whoa! What I would have done is I would have not let him buy the team. I would just flat out refuse the offer. Because I wouldn't want someone like him to buy the team just so his son can go drive him a sport, you know? I would want a fast, good driver to be in the seat. You know, maybe not the best driver, but you know what I mean, a driver that's got potential, you know? Because as with Ollie Behrman, as with rookies, you know, they can be built. Lando Norris, I would still say, is still somewhat of a rookie, but he's got a championship because his team have built him to be a really good driver. Or it might be his car. He might have got the training and the practice to drive well. Same with Lewis. He would have started his career in karting. That's how his career started. He won some championships or something. He went up to the McLaren boss one day and said, "I'll be on the team," something like that. And then before you know it, and then all of a sudden, we know that so yeah, driver standings. Arton is at the top. I'm at the bottom of the standings, as you can see. Constructor standings. We're now first in standings by 1 point. So this next race is very important for the team. We cannot afford a poor race by any means, because we do not, we just don't have the point gap to afford to finish outside the top 10. I'm gonna advance to qualifying. I'm gonna go ahead and simulate this race. Yeah, I'm gonna do qualifying so I can qualify as far up the grid. But I'm gonna simulate the race to see. I don't mind taking a gamble. I really don't sometimes. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just qualify for my team. I bet simulate and just see what the AI of Jono Watmere can do. Obviously he might finish first, he could finish last, he could finish outside the top 10 by a mile, he could finish well within the top 10, he could dominate everyone, he could get dominated by everyone else, there's so many possibilities that can happen. If I start at the back, I don't believe I'd have much of a chance. If I manage to qualify high up though, that'll be different, hopefully. This beginner league I'm going to be joining, I'm hoping that the people in it actually don't lie about their thing. Because, let's say someone that is averaging 1:05 around Austria, do you really think they play on 80% AI? No. Because that's more to the top pace. I'm not sure what the top pace is like on this game so far, but what I'm guessing is that it's somewhere around that range. I'm not quite sure what the possible race pace is, because the DLC has not been out long enough for there to really be a full idea. There might be some of the top people in the game, but as you can see here, I've had a really bad qualifying, so I'm really hoping this is not the end of the world. I'm hoping that this is not going to be it. I'm hoping that when I simulate, I do get both drivers get a top 10. I might have an engine failure, and if that's the case, that's a really bad issue. Simulate. This is like an imaginary thing, right? I'm imagining that, they have a race, right? And the AI kind of do technically race, in a sense, right? The game has got a result, and it takes 30 seconds because they quickly simulate the race on a realistic standpoint by looking at the performance charts. But then at the same time, if it was realistic, right, McLarens would likely be in DNFing. So, then you would look at it and go, oh my god, this is just, So yeah, anyway, chat. So, not chat, viewers of the video. Yeah, this was a pretty decent result, I reckon. Ferraris. So, same again. I do feel confident that we are still going to be ahead. So, standings now. So I'm still in 8th. And as you can see, the Ferraris have dropped down quite a bit. So, but now we've dropped to 2nd because McLaren have got a good result. So, now if we go back, you can see how 39, right? Oh yeah, overall now it hasn't changed because, you know, I thought when I clicked on miss it would show standings on miss, and when I click on miss it would show sprint and race, but it doesn't. So anyway, you know, essentially, let's have a look in comparison to Pacebo. So 38.0. So how many people have I beaten in terms of pace? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 15, 16, 17, 18. I've been 18 people for pace. For race pace. Or fastest lap, sorry. So, yeah. Anyway, so round 3 now. So let's have a look to see what we can upgrade for round 3, I guess. Running costs 1.68. So now we've gone from about around 5 mil to 8 mil. So I'm gonna go into this activities. I'm gonna go into. So powertrain. I feel like power is really important in my car, so that's why I'm gonna do that. Now I've done some activities. Now I need to do this. No, hang on, messages. I need to look at the messages. Nope. Now let me just go on to this. Hang on. No. This. Research. I've got 1.8k to spend. So, anything else I can get done? Yep. Intercooler. There we go. Start research. Let's just go ahead and just advance. I'm now going to go into this, and I'm going to go ahead and go into development. Single development. Standard 18 days. And then development again. in terms of facility improvements, Mo, engineering, right? Personnel and corporate. So I'm gonna go into personnel. Pit crew training. Let me just go into how do I. There we go. Facility improvements. No, I'm gonna try and figure out how to workforce. Is this it? So. No, I'm trying to figure out how I like edit the, you know. I'm just gonna have a look, right? So 63 rating, right? So realistically, right? If I wanted to edit their thing, facility improvement, let's see what I can get. So that I'm just going to do a few upgrades. Now I'm going to leave the upgrades because I don't want to go broke. I don't want to spend too much purely because. Anyway, so early talks, right? Go to meeting, right? So I don't know what this meeting is about. I don't know why we're talking to our drivers about stuff already. But, you know, there's drivers that want the team to give them hard challenges. There are some drivers that want as lower a target as possible so they can focus on that without feeling the pressure too much. So like a front runner team, they might try to decrease the expectation. They might know it's a rookie, right? But they're signing for a top team, so we're gonna want them to do really well. But as they're a rookie, we don't want to put too much pressure. So we say, let's say throughout the season, get at least 6 top 5s, for example. You know, they might think, all right, we've got loads of rounds here. We've got 20 rounds for that driver to progress and get the skill to finish top 5. Anyway, so I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video for today. And I hope to see you on the next one. In the part 2 of my career.